All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we like to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. To all you Akim out there teaching and preaching this truth with 144% sincerity. To the men, women, and children listening and learning, and to the Bayash and Debadat, the house of David. This is Men of Valor Las Vegas Camp. All right, coming to you through the will and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into camp. All right, we're going to start off talking about you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Seminole Indians, Haitians, Puerto Ricans, Guatemalans, Argentinians, Colombian, Uruguay, all right, all the way down to Mexicans. All right, you are the chosen children of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus Christ. All right, Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God or Jehovah. All right, his name is Yahweh. Yahweh Shai, all right, is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Okay? And let's go ahead and show them. As a matter of fact, go over the name after that. Yeah, grab Revelations. Grab Revelations and then go to Romans 9 or 1. Hold that, but then go to Revelation 9.
This is Revelation chapter 7. Revelation chapter 7 and verse 4. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
So 144,000 elect men, all right, were sealed of the tribe of Israel, all right, and Israel collectively as a nation, but 12,000 from each tribe, all right, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, and here's the tribe names, all right.
Of the tribe of Judah were sealed 12,000.
Tribe of Judah is the head tribe where Yahweh Shai came out of, all right, the Savior, all right, the Savior of Israel, all right, who the world calls Jesus Christ, that died for his people, all right, through the will of Yahweh. Okay, go ahead.
Of the tribe of Reuben were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad were sealed 12,000. The tribe of Asher were sealed 12,000. The tribe of Naphtali were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar were sealed 12,000. The tribe of Zebulun were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph were sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin were sealed 12,000.
God. All right. So 12,000 from each tribe makes 144,000. All right. The 144,000 elect men of Israel. All right, which is the governing body under Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. So you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the promise belongs to you. The promise of salvation. All right. What Christians call the rapture, which we know is not the rapture because everybody's not going to be saved. It's only, salvation is only for the nation of Israel. All right. Go ahead and pull that. Yeah, Romans.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 4. Who are Israelites to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the power and the promises?
Read that again and speak up. Slocky, that card can't buy it.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9, verse 4. Who are Israelites?
Who are Israelites?
To whom pertaineth the adoption?
To who pertaineth the adoptions? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you are the true children of Israel. All right. The Most High doesn't care about anybody else. All right. 2/3 of our own nation will perish and die, but Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai cares about you. Okay, go ahead.
And the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law.
The glory, the covenant, the giving of the law is what the world calls the 10 Commandments. All right. That law belongs to the Israelites. All right.
and the service of the power and the promises.
The service, all right, because did not Yahweh Bashim Yahushai set up a service? He set up priest, all right? He set up the holy of the holy for his people. It was not for any other nation. This heritage book goes into Israel alone about the salvation. Everybody else is counted out. It's not for you, all right? We are here to tell you your judgment through the will and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, but it's for our nation to bring us back into remembrance. That's why we're out here on the highways and byways to wake up the elect, 1/3 of our own nation, all right? Because 2/3 will be done away with.
The book of Romans chapter 8. I'm going to start at verse 27. It says, and he that searcheth the heart knoweth what is the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh intercession for the saints according to the will of the Most High. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Most High, to them who are called according to his purpose. For whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of the Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren.
God.
Let me see real quick.
God,
It says,
God.
moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called, and whom he called, them he also justified, and whom he justified, them he also glorified.
God. He justified you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Seminole Indians, all right? Not all of you, but the 1/3 of you, all right? 1/3, sons and daughters, all right? But first and foremost, the 144,000 elect men, all right, to bring his nation back into remembrance, all right?
Because you're going to take, here, you're going to hearken unto this word, if you a part of that, a part of this tribe, but it was more so a part of the elect, because it was predestinated, like it said back in what I just read.
God, Yahweh Shem Yahushai made that apparent for his people to set us apart. He made us a holy nation. Matter of fact, go to Exodus for me. Go to Exodus 19 right quick. God.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 10 and verse 19. They that fear the Lord are a sure seed, and they that love him an honorable plant.
They that fear the Lord are a sure seed. All right, to have fear of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of your ability. All right, because we're in the sinful flesh. All right, so we're going to go off. We're not going to hold it perfect.
Right, and the covenant, was given through a lineage, just how Yahweh Shai, who you didn't really call Jesus Christ, he came out of the loins of David, and David goes back into Judah.
God.
So it's established just how Jacob was given the covenant, or the blessing instead of Esau.
God, and it was predestinated and ordained.
Right.
All right. The Most High told David in a dream. All right. Our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. So David came out of the loins of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Exodus 19, verse 4.
Start at 3. Right.
This is Exodus chapter 19, verse 3. And Moses went up into the power, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel.
You got a question?
Verse 4, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
Yahweh Bashim Yahushai says you should be a peculiar special treasure unto him above all people. All right. So that means you one third of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, are above all people on the face of the earth. All right. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And ye shall be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel.
You shall be a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. All right? And you should speak this unto the children of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Seminole Indians, Haitians, Guatemalans, and Puerto Ricans, all the way down to Mexican. All right? You belong to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. No other nation. All right? Can you, Slock it, can you pull that for me, Deuteronomy? Byword?
Yep. This is Deuteronomy 28 and verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, into a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known.
All right, because we came into this land in captivity. All right, the southern kingdom was in captivity. All right, the northern kingdom was over here. They came first, but they went into captivity. All right, they fled. All right, our homeland. All right, and then came over here. But after Southern Kingdom came over here, they ended up in captivity in the Atlantic slave trade.
And then, the Northern Kingdom was the start of the transatlantic slave trade.
God.
You know, it went from because when Christopher Columbus came over here, he took the Northern Kingdom back to back home and had them enslaved.
God, and you could look at what is Christopher Columbus and what is that story? Pocahontas, Sacagawea, and all that. You know what I mean?
You could even look up the Spanish conquest of Hernan Cortez of 1521.
Hey, and that goes to show you that we are of the same nation. All right? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right? We are one nation. So anybody out there saying otherwise is teaching false doctrine. You got something?
So you want me to Verse 37 says, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee.
God, so your proverb, your byword is Negro, Latino, Colombian, all right, El Salvadorian, Mexican, Black, Native American, Negro, whatever you want to call it. All right, that is a byword. Your true nationality is your biblical nationality. Just as Esau Edom, all right, which is the so-called white man, has his nationality. Just as the so-called Japanese and Chinese have their nationalities. Moab, all right, Amalek, all these nations in the Bible are still here today.
This is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 7, verse 23. And what one nation in the earth is like thy people, even like Israel, whom the power went to redeem for a people to himself, and to make him a name, and to do for you great things and terrible for thy land before thy people, which thou redeemest to thee from Egypt, from the nations and their gods.
God, because Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has a people, and the people are the children of Israel. All right? Sluck it.
Verse 24. For thou hast confirmed to thyself thy people Israel to be a people unto thee forever, and thou, Lord, art become their power.
Yahweh Bashim Yahushai said, we're a people unto him forever. All right? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Seminole Indians, Haitians, Guatemalans, Puerto Ricans, Argentinians, all right? Mexicans, all right? It is you. 1/3 of you is who Yahweh Bashim Yahushai wants to come back to the law, statutes, and commandment to be to be a part of the salvation and to see that salvation. All right?
Verse 25. And now, O Lord power, the word that thou hast spoken concerning thy servant and concerning his house, establish it forever, and do as thou hast said, and let thy name be magnified forever, saying, the Lord of hosts is the power over Israel, and let the house of thy servant David be established before thee.
Hey, it goes back to the house of Israel. And matter of fact, let's get that Israel right quick and get that surname for the Genesis for me. Salakia.
Book of Genesis, chapter 32, verse 28. And he said, Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel, for as a prince hast thou power with the Most High, and with men, and hast prevailed.
So thou name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. All right. So when you see Israel in the Bible, it is talking about Jacob. All right. The lineage thereof too. All right. Your lineage, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, bless the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. No other nation. All right. Look, speak about the devil and the devil's going to come. All right. Speaking abominations. Yeah, but we're not there. You got something? No. Okay. Can you pull First Corinthians 4 and 9?
Book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 4, verse 9. For I think that the tower hath set forth of the apostles last, as it were appointed to death. For we are made a spectacle unto the world, an angel, and to the angels, and to men.
God. So Yahweh Bashim Yahushai set up the apostles last. All right. Starting from Apostle Tahar on down. All right. Set up before his apostles. Starting from Alba Bibbins. All right. Waking up to the truth. All right. And bringing the word out. And for Apostle Tahar on down. All right. To take it the full course. All right. We're out on the highways and byways because it is commanded of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right, to come and preach this word. Because everything has to come full circle. All right, as John the Baptist was out proclaiming and preaching on the highways and byways before the coming of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So, through the Spirit, if you can receive it, reincarnation is real. All right? That same Spirit was out here waking up, starting with Alba Bibbins, all right, who we believe, all right, in that same Spirit of John the Baptist. Okay? You can get that.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 14, verse 23. And the Lord said unto the servant, Go out into the highways and hedges, and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled.
Right. So we go out to the highways and hedges to compel you to come in. All right. But if this word resonates with you, if Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is dealing with you, if he's not blocking you from this truth, and this is when you hear the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you see brothers out on the highways and byways, and you watch videos, all right, it stirs something up in you. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai may be dealing with you. All right, it is a commandment for us to come out here, to make our bodies a living sacrifice. On that? Oh, sorry.
First Corinthians chapter 4, verse 10. We are fools for a Mashiach's sake.
Con, we are fools. All right. We got people walking by, talking shit. All right. You got people coming up to us thinking we're wearing dresses and stuff. All right. We will be humiliated if it causes us to, for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, we will be put to death if that is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's will.
But ye are wise in the Mashiach. We are weak, but ye are strong. Ye are honorable, but we are despised.
Con. So you that have the fame, all right, you have the fame. You have if it's dealing with another camp that's teaching false doctrine, you have the fame. All right, you have the fame. You have the views. You have the numbers. You have the 501Cs. Read that again.
We are fools for Mashiach's sake.
We are fools. We will be laughed at. We will be talked about. We'll be scorned.
And we follow this truth blindly.
Huh.
Because that's faith.
Con.
You go to Hebrews 11:1.
Matter of fact, pull that for Hebrews 11:1. Keep on.
It says, but ye are wise in the Mashiach.
But we are wise. All right, we are wise in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, studying to show ourselves approved, studying diligently so we can understand his laws, statutes, and commandments, his deep, dark sayings. All right, performing the righteous acts to the best of our abilities. All right, and this is one of those righteous acts, being out here on the highways and byways.
It says, we are weak.
We are weak because we have no strength. We have no power. All right, we can't tell anybody what to do. All right, we understand the curses that we're under. Brothers have trouble getting their households in order. All right.
That standard hasn't been lifted up. Well, that we haven't been given that power, to overcome, this oppression right now.
God.
But ye are strong.
But ye are strong because you got substance. All right. You got substance. You got your cars, house. Everybody want to flock to you. All right. The false prophets. You got so many beautiful garments. All right. You have a whole healthcare system set up. All right, for your church. All right. You go on trips. You have lavish jets. All right. You believe yourself to be in a good case.
We fall back on the strength of the Lord,
God.
So even though we're weak, we have the power backing us up.
God. Actually, you got that. You got the. Okay, so
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 1. Now, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
okay, faith is evidence, things not seen. It's hope for it. All right, we have faith. That's why we're out here on the highways and byways with fear first and foremost. Fear of the judgments, fear of waking up and not doing what we're supposed to do. All right, because we believe through the will and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we've been called.
Right? It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 10, verse 38. Now the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him.
Now the just shall live by faith. All right, and we dare not draw back. Abaratazah. We live by the faith. We keep examining ourselves daily that we be in the faith.
Verse 39, but we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, but of them that believe to the saving of the soul.
Come on, we're not. Read that again.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 39. But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition.
We are not of them that draw back into perdition. All right. And what's perdition? Matter of fact, could somebody pull up the exact definition of perdition?
Perdition a state of eternal punishment and damnation into which a sinful and unpenitent person passes after death.
That blue letter?
No,
Or is that,
it's just Google just
Google
removed
it.
it. Pull up,
yeah, pull it up with blue letter too. Lock it.
What verse was that?
That was Hebrews 11 and 39. Hebrews 10 and 39. 10 and 39. Lock it. 10 and 39.
The Greek word apolia, it says destroying, utter destruction of vessels, a perishing ruin, destruction of money, the destruction which consists of eternal misery in hell.
Eternal misery in hell. All right, and that's not talking about a place under the ground. All right, we're talking about misery in hell here. Your condition. Hell is a condition. All right, if you don't have substance to feed your family, is that not a hell? If you get pulled over driving while black, all right, and fearing for your life, is that not a hell? If your woman is cheating on you, all right, is that not a hell? So hell is a condition. Got something up there.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 28, and verse 1. The wicked flee when no man pursueth, but the righteous are bold as a lion.
Hey, the wicked flee when no man pursueth. But the righteous, all right, as bold as a lion. In Abaratazar, we be those men to continue on and still be righteous throughout Jacob's trouble. All right? If it be Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's will. All right, in that hour of temptation, whether we're delivered up to judges, all right, whether we have to be beheaded for this truth, that we stand bold as a lion, still proclaiming the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai.
Verse 2, for the transgression of a land, many are the princes thereof, but by a man of understanding and knowledge the state thereof shall be prolonged.
So understanding the law, statutes, and commandments, understanding the judgments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai prolongs your life. All right? Prolongs your life. And you know how it prolongs your life? Because if you don't have this knowledge and this truth, you're not even living. You're dead. All right? You're in the valley of the dry bones. You're walking zombies. You can get, I think I got one more. You read, all right, go through 13.
Let me grab this precept. Matthew 10 and 22. Or let me read. I'll read this one. This is 1 Corinthians 4 and 10. We are fools for Mashiach's sake, but ye are wise in a Mashiach. We are weak, but ye are strong. Ye are honorable, but we are despised.
God.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 22. It says, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but ye that endure to the end shall be saved.
God, we should be hated of all men. All right? You proclaim in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, most people have a problem with it. Most people want to scoff. All right? Be quick, a Christian, be quick to tell you that's not the name. All right? And they don't even do any research. They believe that this book was just something that just popped up. All right? And it was written in English. Even though they believe it was written written in English only and translated only one time.
This is 1 Corinthians 4:11. Even unto this present hour, we both hunger and thirst, and are naked and are buffeted, and have no certain dwelling place.
We have no certain dwelling place. I don't care if you own a home. I don't care if you have an apartment. All right? There's no certain dwelling certain dwelling place. All right? Because we are yet today still in this captivity. Our captivity.
Even if you own that home, you don't truly own it because you still got to pay taxes on it.
God.
See, the government owns that house. You don't own anything in this world.
God, you don't even own your children. All right? That's why they got that social security number. That's why you got one. All right? That's your cattle number. Because they look at you sheeple as cattle.
Slave. Verse 12, and labor working with our own hands, being reviled, we bless, being persecuted, we suffer it.
God. And we'll suffer it. All right? We continue to suffer it as other men have suffered before. We suffer as Apostle Tahar, all right, and the apostles that Elba Bivens that came before him suffered. All right, but right now in the time that we're in, Apostle Tahar on down, suffering, laboring. All right,
You gotta bear that cross. That comes with taking up this truth. If he's not going through trials and tribulations, then
you surely can't be my disciple.
nah. Verse 13, being defamed, we entreat, we are made as filth of the world, and are the offscouring of all things unto this day.
God, being defamed, all right? Being defamed for believing, all right, in Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, believing in that name, being defamed for telling you that the chariots, all right, what the world calls UFOs, or what is it? I think
The new UAP.
The new UAPs, all right, are the chariots of Israel. And that's how we're going to get delivered through that salvation. And it's only Israelites. All right, it is only Israelites who are going to be delivered. We are hated and scorned for that. We are mocked. You don't believe that Jesus is going to save everybody? No. One, because your Jesus is false. He's not coming. All right. Yeah, he's Caesar Borgia. He was depicted from a real man. All right, but he has no power. He's a false idol.
I just want to, because UAP stands for unidentified aerial phenomenon. And the definition for that word phenomenon, it's a fact or situation that is observed to exist or happen, especially one whose cause or explanation is in question.
Read that again. That's just a.
So the Microsoft Bing Dictionary has it as a fact or situation that is observed to exist or happen, especially one whose cause or explanation is questioned.
A fact or a situation. A fact or a situation.
So it has to be real. That's why they had to change the name of it from just identified flying object, unidentified flying object,
God.
to unidentified aerial phenomenon,
because it is a fact,
and they know for sure that it's there.
right? And they already for sure, these higher ups know for sure what it is.
Because going back to the 50s, you know, there were chariot sightings that
Roswell.
Right. And all these other occurrences out in the UK, you know, across the world, they already had them, but it was so frightening.
If this devil can have choppers, why can't the Most High? Why can't the Most High have technology better than his? That is out of this world.
Because you know, and the government had to put you know, these chariots, you know, the chariots of Israel were so you know, frightening to them because of the freaks of nature that are the way that they move, and they knew it was a powerful force
God.
to be reckoned with, so they didn't want anybody to know about it. That's why they kept it on they try to keep it on the low. If like if you look at documentaries and stuff, when they had when people had seen them, they would get visited by the government and be told not to tell nobody. Now back in the day, if somebody from the government told you not to say anything, you probably would, that's what you did. Now it's harder to keep wraps on things.
God. Through this
Even the Pentagon had admitted that they exist.
God. Through this Internet of Things, all right? You can't hide nothing now.
They would put you know, and then pilots that's, you know, they would, right after they reported it, they would take them in a room, you know, and have them there for days, you know, trying to say like, okay, you didn't see nothing, or try to change their mind about things, but they wouldn't let them talk to nobody. I'm gonna grab this real quick.
Sure.
And then we jump back in.
Yeah.
So this
You can pull that precept after you.
is the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, and verse 2. It says, when they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for. And they that repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he, whom he had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor.
God.
How is he numbered among the children of the Most High, and his lot is among the saints?
God. Hey, and this is what all these devils are saying. All right. This is what Esau Edom saying. All right. The higher ups that know this. All right. That's why they're trying to perform these acts. All right. That's why they're doing. They have spiritual wickedness in high places.
And that's why they're putting out all these spells, you know, and using all their sorcery to make the nation of Israel continue to go off. You know, putting pork in every usable item that they can.
God.
Extracting it, putting it in
Clothes.
your clothes,
Toothpaste.
your
Food.
yeah, your candies and shit. You know, your red dye 40.
Everything.
You know, your hot Cheetos.
Everywhere.
So you can't get away from it. You go ahead.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 47. Whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings and doeth them, I will show you to whom he is like. He is like a man which built an house and digged deep and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon that house and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. But he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built an house upon the earth, against which the stream did beat vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great.
God, if you don't hearken unto the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, all right, to obey the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of his ability, just like it to the best of your ability, all right, you're not going to be able to stand. If you're not seeking to do right and to change your ways, if you want to live the American dream, all right, if you want to be a part of the American dream, which is really the American scheme, all right, if you want to be a part of that, you cannot be a part of this. All right, you are not a man or a woman of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because you're not believing the doctrine. Come. 1 Timothy 2 and 3.
Because this truth is our foundation. You know, Scripture tell you not to build a house on sand. You know, because if you build a house on sand, it would easily it's weak.
God,
You know?
it'll sink. All right, it'll sink. It'll get swept away. You ever build a sand castle at the beach and then the tide comes up?
But look how many years, you know, if you just look at the, you know, like on the edge of a cliff, you know, that's next to the ocean, how many years it takes just to break a few layers off of that rock.
This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 3. For this is good and acceptable in the sight of the power, our Savior, who will have all men to be saved and to come unto the knowledge of the truth. For there is one power and one mediator between the Most High and men, the man Yahushua HaMashiach.
God. So coming back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, all right, this is how we're going to be saved. That's how. All right, and being out here on the highways and byways, ultimately we know it's predestination. All right, but you can't be predestinated to do it if you didn't do the work, if you didn't believe, if you don't have faith. All right, that's one of the conditions. It's a conditional contract that was predestinated for the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the 144,000 elect men, to go out on the highways and byways or be helped. All right, to be evangelists, to do the things of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, to speak his words, for the women to be in order, for the children to be in order, for women to be a pillar of rest unto their husband, to stop giving headaches, stop talking back, wear clothing appropriate for a woman, having the fear of your husband and having the fear first and foremost of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, because your husband fears him if he's a man of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, if you don't have a man of Yahweh Shem Yahushai and you're with the man, still to follow his order in righteousness.
This book of 2 Peter chapter 1, verse 21. For prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of the power spake as they were moved by the Holy Ghost. Quran Qudash.
God. So this is not something that us brothers woke up and just like, you know what? We met each other. It was like, do you want to teach the Bible? You want to teach the Bible? That's not how it went.
It's not a trend. or a fashion. You know,
God,
this is and let me continue. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
God, and that's these other groups that don't call on the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. First and foremost. Then there's some that call on the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai that don't believe the doctrine in its entirety.
Still call on Jesus Christ.
God.
You know, and then, you know, highlighting the says even the denying the Lord that brought them. You know, so they deny Yahweh Shai.
God.
You know, and they've done that before. They said that you know, Psalms 2 and 12, they don't kiss the hand of the Son lest he be angry. You know,
God.
and if they don't believe in worthy is the Lamb, you know, they think that they could. They don't need that mediator.
God.
The scriptures tell you different.
They believe that they believe, you know, the Old Testament Israelites. All right. But hey, did not Yahweh Shai said, I come in the volume of the book? It is written of me. All right.
They you know, they don't even give you know, respect to the elders, you know, with double honors. Those are the same people that taught you motherfuckers. The same person that gave you the truth, you have no respect for. You know, ultimately it came from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, but he was a vessel that he used.
You go to
This is the book. This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter time some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils, speaking lies and hypocrisy, having their conscience seared with a hot iron.
verse 3.
Forbidding to marry and commanding to abstain from meats, which the Most High hath created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth.
God. All right. And we know this to be true. All right. But we know there's 2/3 of our own people. All right. Because that's who salvation is for. 2/3 of our own people won't receive this truth. All right. 2/3 of our own people hate Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And guess what? Those false prophets are amongst those 2/3. They're amongst those 2/3.
Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai.
Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Brakatam. Shalom. All right.
1 Corinthians 7 and 23. Ye are bought with a price. Be not ye the servants of men.
Yep.
It says, brethren, or do you want me to start at 22?
Matter of fact, yeah, Salak, yeah. I should have told you that earlier.
This is 1 Corinthians 7 and 22. For he that is called the Lord, being a servant, is the Lord's free man.
God. So we are free men. All right. We are free men right now. Doing the will and doing the will and the work of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. We come out here freely to make our body a living sacrifice.
So the truth shall set you free.
God.
You know?
That's why us men standing up here are free. All right. That's why we put our life on the line. If it's the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Yeah.
Likewise, also he that is called, being free, is a Mashiach servant. Ye are bought with a price. Be not ye the servants of men. What's that price?
God, we're bought with a price.
The price, what's the price of our salvation? To do the will of the Most High,
God,
and to teach others and lead them in the right way. This is verse 24. Brethren, let every man wherein he is called, therein abide with the power.
God, abide with Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right? Do the work and do the will. All right? Be consistent in season and out of season. All right? Whether it's hot or cold. All right? If the elements allow you to be out there, all right, without being harmed, we're not saying go out in a tornado, or go out in a flash flood that you can't stand. All right.
Book of Hebrews, chapter 6, verse 10. For God, Yahweh, is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed toward his name, in that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister.
God, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai he's righteous not to forget the sacrifice that we've made. All right. For him. All right. Ultimately, because he allowed us to do it. He ordained us to do it. Abba Ratazah, we be those men.
And we desire that every one of you do show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end.
All right. And Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, all right, desires that we show the same diligence to continue to the end. All right, to the end of your lot. All right, whether you have to be beheaded for the truth, okay, or whether you continue and make it through Jacob's trouble to be beamed up.
We hope to see that end. But we're willing, to be a sacrifice for the rest of our nation to do so. And by nation right now I only mean the elect.
God.
So that the rest of the nation can come back to the loins of them.
God.
And that goes into Revelations 2 and 13 or 3 and 14. Be hot and not cold.
God.
So you don't get spewed out his mouth. And that's being rejected.
Go over verse 24.
And
in chapter 9.
Hebrews.
No,
Corinthians. This is 1 Corinthians 9, verse 24. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize.
God.
So run that ye may obtain.
All right. Running a race. We're running this race to receive a prize. The prize of salvation. All right.
Hey, when you running, you hot.
God. It goes back to what you just said.
God, let me pull this real quick. This is a Proverbs.
That's just good.
It's on the topic of running. Proverbs 18 and 10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. It doesn't say that the righteous is walking into it. They jogging into it. Now we running at full pace, for that protection, for that to make our calling sure.
God.
You're not just floating around maybe I'll find find safety. No, he's running with this truth. You know, we're not gonna stop running until it's time to do so. That's when them chariots come down.
Right. That's when the famine of the word and everything come.
No, we're not gonna stop teaching until we dead, or Lord willing, we see the end.
God.
This is Romans chapter 8, verse 35. Who shall separate us from the love of Hamashiach? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword? As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are accounted as sheep for the slaughter.
God. Go ahead and actually break that down up.
So, no matter what we go through, no matter how hard it may get or how scary it may get, nothing's gonna who shall have us depart from the faith? You know, the love of Hamashiach. Nothing, because that's our power. That's our first love. We're killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter, like they were talking about earlier. Like, we're killed all the day long for this truth, and we're counted as sheep for the slaughter because what does Edom want to do? He wants to get rid of the nation of Israel. He wants to get back the blessing, but he can't.
Matthew 24, you know, the elect could only be deceived, you know,
If it were possible.
if it were possible. If it were possible to deceive the very elect, but it's not possible. You know, if you're a part of that number, if your name's written in that book, you have a solidified spot in this.
Get which one of you sit down?
This is Luke 14 and 28. For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? No.
So which one of you, all right, did not sit down and consider the things that you have to go through, the trials and tribulations, the humiliation for Yahweh Bashim Yahushai? All right, you got to count the cost. All right, and Book of Matthew's searching for that penny. That's what I was trying to look up too. I had it, but then I blew the end off of the page. But the count of that cost. All right, we count the cost to be a part of this salvation, Abarataza. We count the cost to being called. All right, some brothers had to give up wives. All right, some brothers had to give up children. Some brothers had to give up jobs, homes. All right, and eventually, we all gonna have to give it up. That's that hour of temptation.
Love not the world.
God.
You know, and when it says love not the world, you know, it's talking about in its entirety. You know, because you know the 2/3 got a wicked spirit on them. They got demons on them. You know, and we should be you know anguishing and lamenting for that. You know, everything in this world is wicked. You know, based on material things, vanity, you know, greed, envy, lust. That's what America is founded off.
Right.
You know, blood,
Rape, robbery, and murder.
Forgot where I was going.
All right.
All right, let's pull up that word real quick.
You know, when you you have to know that you have going back to Luke 14:28. You know, you have to have the sufficiency. You know, so you have to know the whole layout. You have to before you even go to get that loan. You know,
Right. To build the house, you have to have the loan. All right. And after you have a SLOC, you have to have your plan for the loan. All right. That means you have to have the blueprints. Okay. So your blueprints got to be together. You have to have a rough scale, and you have to have a summary of what you need, the materials. All right. You have to have the vendors who you're going to have, who you have ideal to build this house.
the
Contractors, SLOC.
the contractor, the material costs. You need that whole thing in entirety. And you can't expect to come in this truth and not get that because we're gold tried in the fire.
Right.
We can't not expect. Where's the fire at? Where's the fire? That's what we're looking for. But we need those earn your stripes.
The brother said earlier, rape, robbery. Remember, we're going to look up the word rape and see what it means. Booty, prey, forceful seizure, plundering, robbery, extortion, sexual violence. The act of despoiling a country in warfare.
Oh.
So, you take everything from everybody, you basically rape them.
God. That's exactly, hey, that's the whole program of America. All right? America, that's everything that they have done. All right? The colonization.
Coercion, of the false doctrines of their mutilated breakdowns of this book.
God.
How they contorted it to fit their plan.
Hey, that's why they have the slaves Bible.
That's why a lot of Jake don't believe in this book now, because they believe that it was set. They believe that it was set up for them, to be enslaved. Those so-called woke Egyptologists or the conscious community, which they're partially true, because it was part of the beast system, the Roman Catholic Church, that was their initiative, but King James was the one who translated this, and he was a black man. So-called black man. More than likely, he was an Israelite. You want me to grab the penny?
God.
And where you want me to start? At the very top, or?
I think it's 4. But you can just start at the top.
This is Book of Matthew, chapter 20, verse 1. For the kingdom of heaven is like unto a man that is an householder, which went out early in the morning to hire laborers into his vineyard.
God. Yahweh Shem Yahushai hired laborers into his vineyard. All right? And we are the laborers. All right, continue.
And when he had agreed with the laborers for a penny a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And he went out about the third hour and saw others standing idle in the marketplace, and said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, I will give you. And they went their way.
God. So Yahweh Shem Yahushai called men, all right? Salakia, called men to labor. All right, labor in this truth. Going back to making our bodies a living sacrifice. Going back to being out on the highways and byways. Doing videos, all right? Proclaiming the name. Standing for the name at all cost. And at any cost. All right, go ahead.
And said unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right I will give you. They went their way. Again, he went out about the 6th and the 9th hour, and did likewise.
So Yahweh Shem Shai, all right, woke up brothers earlier. Other brothers woke up as he woke up Alba Bivens, all right, and he woke up Apostle Tahar on down. All right, the men who've been laboring this truth 40 years, 30 years, 37 years, 35 years. All right, that Yahweh Shem Shai called those men before. All right, and you have brothers waking up today. You got brothers been in here 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 1 day. All right, if Yahweh Shem Shai has woken you up and called you. Go. Be looking for something. Be looking for something. No.
This is 2 Corinthians
Yeah.
10 and 13. It says, But we will not boast of things without our measure, but according to the measure of the rule which the Most High hath distributed to us, a measure to reach even unto you.
God. So we stay within our measure. All right, because the men who came before us, all right, Apostle Tahar, we're not going to be on the same level as Apostle Tahar. Apostle Ramla.
We have a different measure.
Khan. We're not going to be on the same level as brothers been in here 20, 30, 10, 15 years. If Yahweh Shem Shai is working with them.
That's a part of this thing too, is to know your place in the order of it. Because there's a hierarchy.
Khan.
Starting with Yahweh Shai.
Khan, and having humility.
King David. And knowing your place and not trying to speak out of it.
God.
The scriptures do say that the younger will rebuke the older.
God.
You're not supposed to hold your tongue in that respect or in that aspect. But the measure,
God, you see yourself on this side? Do you see yourself on this side?
No, I was just seeing what this was.
You're reading the Bible, the truth in the Bible. Because these are the children of Israel. This is so-called God. This is his chosen people. Through the Spirit, we found out back in the 70s that these are the modern day bywords that go back to these 12 nations.
Yeah.
Yep. So if your lineage goes back to here, then you're a person of the Most High. You are a children of the Most High, and salvation is for you. If not, then you have judgment coming your way.
I do.
Yep. If you got any questions, feel free to ask. This is back in Matthew chapter 20, in verse 6. It says, And about the 11th hour, he went out and found others standing idle, and saith unto them, Why stand ye here all day idle? They say unto him, Because no man hath hired us. He saith unto them, Go ye also into the vineyard, and whatsoever is right, that shall ye receive.
So Yahweh Shem Shai hired these men, all right? Hired the men, all right, to do the work. And he hired them at different times for different tasks to be performed. All right, but ultimately, because we're one body to do the same task.
So that goes back into what we put out in Revelations, that the 144,000, 12,000 of each tribe will all have to be solidified before salvation comes, before Yahweh Shai cracks the clouds and saves our people from this captivity.
God.
Before before Esau, the so-called white man, gets his judgment, for the destruction of our nation, and before the other heathen nations get their judgment.
God, for being on one accord with Esau, Edom.
Before the 2/3 get put in that same fire with them for taking part of this society,
God,
for going, for doing and setting up these presidents and kings over them, and for having the blood, of our Savior on their hand.
God.
This is verse 8. It says, so when even was come, the Lord of the vineyard saith unto his steward, call the laborers and give them their hire, beginning the last unto the first.
God. So Yahweh Shem Yahushai set that same measure, gave that same penny to every servant. All right? That same penny to every servant.
Why did the Most High choose to put Judah as that top tribe? Because they were the least.
God.
So he put the least on the top because they were his. That was his favor.
God.
Because Judah had the
The least of all the princes.
Con.
No? Matter of fact, Matthew, what is it? Matthew's 2 and 6, 5 and 6. You can keep going on that, I'll pull it.
Okay.
Actually, you're there.
And Judah was the one that had the humility to exalt, to speak out about the transgression that they did.
God.
That the other brothers of and the other sons of Israel committed against Joseph.
God.
And that's why he's the lawgiver.
God.
Right.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 2, verse 6. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel.
God. And that's the law. All right? The law is given by Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Yahweh made his only begotten son to come out of the tribe of Judah. All right? Go ahead, continue on that.
Matthew 20 and 9. And when they came that were hired about the 11th hour, they received every man a penny. But when
every man's going to receive that penny. All right? If he's doing the work and will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. If he has been ordained, all right, and predestinated to do the work. And if they continue, all right? Because there's some who got hired, all right, but decided to quit in the middle of it.
They said because they was asking the brothers from the 11th hour, how much you getting paid?
God.
How much you gonna get? We've been doing this work since the first hour. I feel like I should be getting more.
God. Hey, some brothers quit. Simply just quit. Other brothers got fired.
Right. And when Yahweh Shem Yahushai, a couple of verses earlier, when he went to went to the other laborers, and said, "Why are you idle?" That was him waking them up. That's those brothers in the latter ain't getting woken up.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 75. In holiness and righteousness before him all the days of our life, and thou, child, shalt be called the prophet of the highest, for thou shalt go before the face of the Lord to prepare his ways, to give knowledge of the salvation unto his people by the remission of their sins, through the tender mercy of our power, whereby the day spring from on high hath visited us.
God. Hey, by the tender mercy of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, we receive this truth. All right. Matter of fact, this is spirit. Book of Acts, chapter 2, and verse 17. And it reads, and it shall come to pass in the last days, saith the power, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. And your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. All right. And it's not women's place to be out here on the highways and byways to prophesy. All right. But if she had a dream, all right, or if she has knowledge, she can tell another sister. All right. And tell her, hey, you should find a head or listen to the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. He pours out the spirit.
If that dream was meant to be heard, then it's gonna come out.
God. What is the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai? Prophecy. Prophesying about the downfall of this system. America is fallen. All right? Babylon is fallen. They tell you in these damn movies. Olympus is fallen. What does Olympus go back to? All right? Roman Empire.
Book of Luke first, the book of Luke, chapter 1, verse 79. To give light to them that sit in darkness and in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of peace.
To give light. All right? Because the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushua is light. All right? It is living waters. We dwell in light, not darkness.
Verse.
You got more in there? No. Okay. Continue on that and then look up.
Matthew 20:10. But when the first came, they supposed that they should have received more, and they likewise received every man a penny. And when they heard, and when they had received it, they murmured against the good man of the house.
Okay, every man, all right, is out here for that same penny. All right? Same penny. Every man is out here for on the highways and byways. If they're out here in sincerity. All right? Through the will and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Every brother is laboring for that same penny, excluding none. All right? Apostle Tahar was laboring for that same penny. He's just been doing it the longest. He got hired before everybody else. All right? That is in the truth right now. He was hired in his measure to lead the nation of Israel back. All right? In the correct doctrine, in order.
Verse 12.
Salakia. We know that Apostle Tahar, the other apostles and brothers, are not going to give us salvation. All right? We are not worshiping men, but we worship the Most High because we are on one accord. We teach the same doctrine. All right, Slack.
Verse 12, saying that these last have wrought but 1 hour, and thou hast made them equal unto us. And thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden of the heat of the day. But he answered one of them, and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Is not thou agreed with me for a penny?
Huh? Hey, did Apostle example? Apostle Tahar, right, came into the truth, all right, and start waking other brothers up. All right, so that means Apostle Tahar accepted the course of the penny. All right, he accepted to say, okay, I came into this, I'm going to stay with this. I'm going to stay with this. And Yahweh Shem Yahushua is working with the elders on down to be exalted. All right, and stay with it. Continuing on in this. But in comparison, you take Nate, all right, you take General Yahana, all right, and you take these other camps, the so-called leaders, Sakari, the other leaders of these other camps, all right, they wanted more. All right. So they went ahead and changed the stipulations of their contract. All right. An employee changes the stipulation of the contract. There is no union. All right.
You can't negotiate with the Most High.
God. There's no union in this.
And you can't negotiate with the Most High for a better contract. Or you negotiate.
God. You're negotiating with devils. Right.
Book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 5. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness.
Come, we are not of the night, but we are the children of the day. All right. Yahweh Shem Yahushua says we're the starting with Yahweh, the light of the world. All right. To lead them out of the darkness. Because this place is dark. This place is full. This place is full of abomination and abominable acts.
Matthew 20:12 saying, these last have wrought but 1 hour. Thou hast made them equal unto us, which have borne the burden, the heat of the day. But he answered one of them and said, friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst not thou agree with me for a penny? Take that thine is, and go thy way. I'll give unto this last, even as unto thee.
God. So no negotiation. All right? There is no negotiation.
Is it not lawful for me to do what I will with mine? Oh.
Hey, is it not lawful for the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, to do what he will with his own? What belongs to him? Everything. Who belongs to him? Essentially everyone. All right? But who is his chosen people? Who is his favorite people? The nation of Israel.
And the elect of that nation.
Khan, and the elect, the 1/3 of that nation.
Says, is thine eye evil because I am good? So the last shall be first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen.
God, for many be called, but few are chosen. All right? The many that are called, all right? The many that are called is everybody. All right? Everybody who's out here proclaiming to teach the truth of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Whether they're teaching it right or wrong. Many are called. Few are chosen. The 1/3 are chosen. All right? The 1/3 did not have a problem with the contractual agreement. Did not have a problem with the law, statutes, and commandments set up in the order how it's set up. All right? The 1/3 doesn't have a problem with not having a 501c. The 1/3 doesn't have a problem with not being brewed up. Making music and shit. Doing fucking reality shows. Flying over to Jerusalem.
Building
cities.
schools in Africa. Like.
Right. And want to build cities, purchase land to build cities. All right. And having Passovers, trying to have Passovers at stadiums.
Those are things of this world.
God. Got something? All right. So we understand. We understand that the will of power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and the will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai will be done.
This is the book of 1 Thessalonians, chapter 2, verse 14. For ye, brethren, became followers of the churches of the power, which in Judea are in Hamashiach Yahushai, for ye also have suffered like things of your own countrymen, even as they have of the Jews, who both killed the Lord Yahushai and their own prophets, and have persecuted us, and they please not the power, and are contrary to all men, forbidding us to speak to the Gentiles, that they might be saved, to fill up their sins always, for the wrath is come upon them to the uttermost.
Read it up. Let's go.
1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 14. For ye, brethren, became followers of the churches of the power, which in Judea are in Yahushua HaMashiach, for ye also have suffered like things of your own countrymen, even as they have of the Jews, who both killed the Lord Yahushua and their own prophets.
God, because we are made to suffer. All right, the servant is not greater than the master. All right, so we have to suffer in this truth. We have to suffer, whether it be financially, physically, mentally, all right, spiritually, all right. We suffer.
And have persecuted us, and they please not the power, and are contrary to all men, forbidding us to speak to the Gentiles, that they might be saved, to fill up their sins always, for the wrath is come upon them to the uttermost.
God. And that's what these heathens do. Try to make sure that we're not trying to wake up our people, the elect. All right? Because we tell these other nations, you know, their judgments. You have to teach in its entirety. You have to tell the Esau Edom is going into slavery. You have to tell them Moab is going into slavery. Sorry, I'm going to say it regular. They're bywords. You have to tell Asians that they're going into slavery. You have to tell the so-called white man that he's going into slavery. You have to tell the so-called Hindu man he's going into slavery. You have to tell the all these other so-called nations, Japanese or whatever, that they're going into slavery for the transgressions against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's people, the so-called blacks, the so-called Latinos, so-called Native Americans. All right, and then America is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. All right? No, good idea. Fine. I was thinking next. Spare my day. Let's start at 2. All right.
Isaiah chapter 1, verse 2. Hear, O heavens, and give ear, O earth, for the Lord has spoken. I have nourished and brought up children, and they have rebelled against me.
God, 2/3 of our own nation have rebelled against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. All right? Go ahead.
The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doeth not know, my people doeth not consider.
All right, so if these animals, the ox, all right, and a jackass, a donkey, all right, as you see on the brother's garment, if a donkey, all right, knows its owner, its people don't know. They do not consider that it could be them, all right, even though that the scriptures tell you it's you through the curses and the conditions. All right, go ahead, continue.
Ah, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, a seed of evildoers, children that are corrupters. They have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward.
God, they have gone away backward. All right, we provoke Yahweh Bashim Yahushai through anger, through not obeying the laws, statutes, and commandments. all right, for calling off their these other gods. Whether you be a Muslim, whether you be a Christian, a Jehovah's Wickedness, all right, Buddhist, or whatever. Go ahead.
All right, that go into back to Deuteronomy 28 or 36 37.
God.
Verse 5, why should ye be stricken any more? Ye will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick, and the whole heart is faint.
God, 2/3 of our own people are going to revolt more and more. The whole head is sick. All right? The whole head is sick. So why would Yahweh Bashim Yahushua continue to suffer you? All right? You have already told him. All right? You told him back in the day, all right, through the spirit, because it's the same spirit of the children of Israel that said, let the blood be upon our children's children. All right? You're that same wicked generation that's here today. You're that same wicked generation when we got delivered out of the land of Egypt. All right, you went off. All right? Making Aaron, all right, to make a false idol. Go ahead.
From the soul, Isaiah 1 and 6, from the sole of the foot, even unto the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores.
God, because you're just defiled, you're destroyed. All right? What's a putrefying sore? All right? A sore that can't be healed.
They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment.
Hey, can't be healed. It can't get clean. All right? It's in continuous filth. All right? It's like getting a gash in the swamp and staying in the swamp water. All right? You're bound to die.
Your country is desolate. Your cities are burned with fire. Your land strangers devour. Strangers devour it in your presence. It is desolate as overthrown by strangers.
God, desolate, overthrown by strangers. All right?
No, we all right. Thank you.
We're good.
We're not buying nothing right now.
All right.
The book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall come, except there come a falling away first, that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
God. All right? And that son of perdition is mainly Esau Edom, chiefly.
Verse 4. Who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called the power, or that is worshipped, so that he as the power sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the power.
Hey, you know that this devil makes himself the power through iconoclasm. Iconoclasm. It's like it. All right. The images being the babies being little white angels. All right. The finger of God. All right. What is it, Michelangelo or whatever who did the painting? All right. Like God is just chilling in the heavens naked. All right. With little pedophile babies just going around. You had something? No, I was trying to get it. You read 7, right? Right.
Yeah. Good.
Done. Good. No time. Jump over to 20 right, so I can jump over to 4 and go there first. I'll just get through it. You can get it. I'm gonna pull something right quick. Yeah, Isaiah 4:20.
Verse 4.
Go. So like if I'm
Yeah.
I said 4.
So Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness.
All right. So woe unto them. Woe unto all these other nations. Woe unto 2/3 of our own people. All right, who put darkness for good. All right, and evil for light.
That put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
All right, to put a bitter case, to put you in a bitter case. All right, to be bitter about your life, your conditions, your hell that you're in.
Say, do the morning.
God,
That they blacken to the ground. Book of Ezra, chapter 4, verse 15. That search may be made in the book of records of thy fathers. So shalt thou find in the book of the records, and know that this city is a rebellious city, and hurtful unto kings and provinces, and that they have moved sedition within the same of old time, for which cause was this city destroyed.
God. All right. So this city is going to be destroyed. You know. But read the first part again. Salak. Oh, you had a precept? Go ahead and pull that precept and I'll
This is
read that again.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not.
God. So Esau Edom is spoiled. All right. He's being uncovered from his lies. All right. From his unrighteous decrees.
Even his own people are turning against him.
God.
It goes into he shall fall from the uttering of his own tongue.
God.
Fall from the uttering of his own tongue. It's Ezra 4:15. That search may be made in the book of records of thy fathers.
God. Search from the records of thy fathers. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. The records of our fathers. Read that one more time.
That search may be made in the book of records of thy fathers, so shalt thou find in the book of the records, and know that this city is a rebellious city, and hurtful unto kings and provinces, and that they have moved sedition within the same of old time, for which cause was this city destroyed.
God. Just a little bit more. Yeah, I think it is.
It says, we certified the king that if this city be builded again, and the walls thereof set up, by this means thou shalt have no portion on this side of the river. It doesn't.
I've done it. All right. But hey, this queendom is falling. All right. This queendom is falling. Let's hit on a quick prophecies right quick. Hit Isaiah 13:6 for me.
This is the book of
Isaiah.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 13, verse 16. Their children also shall be dashed into pieces before their eyes. Isaiah 13:16.
No, 1.
Oh, Salakia. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 1.
Slack it. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 6. Sorry, verse 6.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 6. How ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand, it shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed, one at another. Their faces shall be as flames.
God, because Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is going to send a dark day, an evil day. All right? The day of the Lord is darkness. That's a day of darkness. All right? Because Yahweh sending his only begotten son back, Yahweh Shai, sending him back. And he has the fury of his father. All right? And they are pissed. They are pissed, especially at 2/3 of our own people, first and foremost, because judgment will start in his house. All right? Secondary is Esau, Edom. And then everybody thereafter. All right?
What verse?
Verse 1,
30.
31.
Isaiah 31:1. Go to them that go down to Egypt for help. Stay on horses and trust in chariots.
God, woe to them. All right, so woe to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans especially. Woe to you that go down to Egypt for help, because America is spiritually Egypt, spiritually Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, spiritually Babylon. All right, spiritually Rome 2.0, America. All right, woe to you. All right, that think you're gonna prosper in here. Woe to you going down and asking for help, asking for this juice. All right, so you think you can get better. All right, this juice, Maxine Waters, is a part of the destruction. So woe to you that goes and relies on this system.
Because you trust in their power.
God,
And that's what the symbolism of those horses and chariots is the military force.
God. You trust that for the UAPs. All right, you trust in what is their space force. All right, that's why they show you these movies. All right, you 2/3. They show you the movies. All right, so you can believe when those ships come that they're going to be little green men or predators.
Right.
All right, jumping out, and that you need to go to Egypt for help when that's your help.
Yeah, they're gonna have some they're gonna have our own nation fighting against the same things that are coming down to save them.
God,
But they're not coming down to save them because those men going up against war more than likely aren't going to be of the elect.
God. All right, go ahead. I think.
And now they more than likely not going to be of the elect because you have to check the Jews to be in the army.
God.
It says because they are many, and in horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord.
Hey, they look not unto the Holy One of Israel. They look into these recruiters, all right, who are recruiting by video games, all right,
Playing that Call of Duty.
right, recruiting you because hey, video games were made so you could be desensitized, all right, for video games. And don't get me wrong, brothers play video games, but it is if you don't have a measure, it is a form of sorcery. All right? If you don't understand that they can manipulate you through this game. Shit, normal worldly studies are done on that. Like reading Rainbow. Don't take my word for it. Look it up. All right, go ahead.
Yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words.
God. Yeah. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is not going to call back his words. He's not going to say, oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me go ahead and draw it back just for a little while longer. So you could get right. So Tonio could get right. All right. So Dante can get right. So Sarah can get right. And the little baby too. The fuck? Go ahead. It's like,
Says, yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity.
God, rise against the house of the evildoer. Who's the house of the evildoer? Esau, Edom, first and foremost. The helpers, who's the helpers? 2/3 in these other nations. All right? That's why destruction's coming to this place. That's why this land will be desolate. All right? America will fall by thermonuclear fire. You're hearing wars and rumors of wars. All right? You're seeing pestilence. All this stuff is coming to pass. All right? Go ahead and read Isaiah 14. We'll go ahead and close out after that. 14 and 1. And go through 3.
Isaiah 14 and 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
God, these other nations, all right, will cleave unto the house of Jacob. All right? To learn the law, statutes, and commandments. All right? To be in order. But first, they got to serve in their captivity of 1,000 years. And through that 1,000 years, they're going to be getting their ass kicked. Getting their ass kicked and learning the law, statutes, and commandments. To be in order. Go ahead.
Verse 2. And the people,
As well as the Gentiles. All right, the Gentile foreigners will be reborn back in the kingdom. The 2/3 of our own people that will die from the second death by thermonuclear fire, by pestilence, all right, by teeth of wild beast, through the judgments of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, that these other people in our nation will die. They will come back because all of Israel will be saved. All right. If you're not saved on the first go around, being of that 1/3, you're the 2/3. You're going to come through the loins of the 1/3. All right. Go ahead.
verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids.
Servants and handmaids, going to show that you other nations will be in captivity. A servant, a handmaid, all right? Men servants. You're going to make sure that, those clothes are ironed. You're going to make sure that this house is clean. You're going to make sure that our sons and our daughters are fed. All right? Handmaids. Shit. Have you seen the Handmaid's Tale? All right? Men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai will possess women of other nations, will have concubines. All right? You will bring forth children for the nation of Israel, whether you believe it or not. All right? And you'll long for it in that day. You'll pray. You women will pray. You women of other nations will pray that you are able to be a concubine. That you have a favor of a man from Yahweh Bashem Yahushai of the nation of Israel.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Rule over their oppressors. Go to Revelations 10. rule over their oppressor. Who's oppressing Jake right now? Esau, Edom, chiefly in these other nations. From Dim Song having a store in the hood. All right? Selling all these abominable foods. Cooking things that are unlawful and feeding them to Jake, telling him it's chicken. All right? For Elam setting up the smoke shop, selling cartons of cigarettes and there in between, continuing on to perpetuate us going off. Uh, 13 and 6.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. All right, 9. Any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
God. So those who led into those who led into captivity are going to go into captivity. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. All right. This is our faith and our patience. We're waiting patiently. All right. For the payback to subdue you under the foot of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. The nation of Israel as an entirety. To subdue the nations, the other nations, to put them in servitude. And put everybody in their rightful place in order. All right, let's drop down and let's hit the Quran. Start at 14.
Revelation 13, 14. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live.
God. All right, so that image of the beast, Rome 2.0. All right, to bow down to this system. All right, to go forward and to comply with the mandates. All right, in this time, to comply with the mandates that are set at hand. That's you being in league. That's you conforming.
He had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
God. Hey, and this beast system is speaking loud and clear. All right? Loud and clear. And they're hey, not only they're killing you off right now through Maxine Waters, all right, but they're going to kill you off through the famine that's coming. All right? Through these storehouses, all right, their goods are dwindling away. Right? No juice, no eat. No juice, no providing. No juice, no nothing. Yeah. Is it pertaining to this or is it not? Okay, so just hold that into the.
Verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a thing in their right hand or in their foreheads.
All small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a charagma, all right, in their hand or forehead. That's Elon Musk, his Neuralink, amongst these other providers, all right, who are trying to do the same thing, merge man and machine, all right, through the micro RFID chip, all right, and you can look that up. That Creepy Joe, all right, has a law for that. All right, so you can be a part of the Internet of Things. All right, so now, so that you can give up what you naturally are to become a possession. All right? I think you got one more verse, right?
Verse 17. That no man might buy or sell save he that hath the thing or the name of the beast or the number of his name.
Okay? You're going to have that to be able to continue on in this society. And they're already starting it with the pastors on the phone. All right? We are not ignorant of Satan's devices. All right? Go ahead.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 35. Let your loins be girded about and your lights burning, and ye yourselves like unto men that wait for their Lord when he will return from the wedding, that when he cometh and knocketh, they may open unto him immediately. Blessed are those servants whom the Lord, when he cometh, shall find watching. Verily I say unto you, that he shall gird himself and make them sit down to meat, and will come forth to serve them.
God. So, Abaratazar, we are those men waiting with sincerity, doing the work and will of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua with all truth and sincerity. All right, proclaiming the name, obeying the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability, practicing and rehearsing the righteous acts to the best of our ability. All right, not leaning upon our own understanding, being diligent in our search. All right, for salvation in the word, rightly dividing truth. All right. Everybody's got anything else? All right. With that, we want to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. To all the Akim out there teaching and preaching this truth with 144% sincerity. To the men, women, and children listening and learning to the house of David, the Bayash, and Debadad. All right. To the next time, this is Men of Valor, Las Vegas Camp. Shalom, Awad, Abal, Babal.